It's almost summertime, so that means I should definitely make a warm pullover sweatshirt, right? Today I am going to be sewing up another version of my sewing pattern, the vintage sweatshirt. I really like the last one that I made. I wear it all the time, it's super comfortable. But what I don't like about my fabric choice is that it's a little bit thin. So I went on a hunt for a fleece-backed knit that was around 500 GSM, grams per square meter. That is the term that they use to help you figure out how thick, how heavy a piece of knit fabric is. Something also interesting, I just noticed that the fabric that I ordered was left in its tubular form. So I was like looking for the raw edge to lay this out on my table. You can see just how heavy it is, and it's still stretchy. She was a little pricey. I have to say that DIY is not always cheaper. At the end of the day, it cost me with shipping about $50 for all the fabric that I need in order to make this sweatshirt. And we are going to do this a little bit differently because I think some of you have been curious to see what this pattern looks like when you don't use ribbing. I really do think that's what gives a homemade sweatshirt a really professional look. But I gotta be honest, it's really hard to find. It's hard to find matches, especially without spending a ton of money. So we're gonna sew up a sweatshirt today, and it's gonna be so comfy cozy, and we're just going to use this fabric. So we'll use this for the cuffs as well, and the neckline and the bottom band. When you start shopping for fabric for your vintage sweatshirt, it's really important that you are comparing the stretch to what my pattern calls for. So I designed this for a fabric that has about 60% stretch. So I just recommend comparing your pattern pieces for your cuffs and your bottom band and straight up comparing that to the stretch of your fabric before you cut out your neckline and your cuff and your bottom band. Because you can see when I stretch like this, there's not that much stretch. So I already know right off the bat, I'm just gonna need to make sure that I don't cut my cuffs, my neckline, and my bottom band too small to where they can't like stretch around my body, if that makes sense. So with all that said, I think it's time to start cutting out my pattern, and let's get into it. I bought this knit fabric from Nature's Fabric, and it is a bamboo fleece knit. This is probably the last time I'll be working with a paper pattern because my projector is finally here. I'm just waiting for the stand. I've got all my wrinkly pattern pieces here. My bottom band, my two sleeves, front and back, cuff and neck band, and it is time to start sewing. I'm just going to follow the exact same steps as the sewing pattern. So first I'm going to sew up the shoulder side seams. This is one of my favorite methods for attaching sleeves. So since we've only sewn up our shoulder seam, we still have the opening for the sleeve. So now I can truly just take my sleeves right sides together, and instead of trying to set the sleeve in, you can do it with everything open. And then you can simply take your side seam and the side seam of your sweatshirt. This is all the way up the side of the sleeve. And I'm just gonna sew that seam shut. This is what I love about this sweatshirt pattern is we've only sewn 4 seams and we're already almost done. If you do a ton of top stitching to make this look really professional, obviously that's gonna add time, but like we only have to put 2 cuffs, a neckline, and a bottom band on. I like to do this step all in one go. These are my cuffs, bottom band, and neck band. And I'm gonna sew up all these side seams together because it's so quick and easy. So I'm just gonna do that real quick. And now I just gotta trim them all. It's like sweatshirt garland. Oof, that looks good. So now we just fold everything to the right side. Don't mind me, I'm just covered in white sweatshirt fuzz. So now your next step is to take all those cuffs that we just worked on, and you want to use pins to mark quarters. So I've split it into 4 quarters, right? And that will help me evenly attach these cuffs and neckband, I feel like I've said that 1,000 times, to the sweatshirt. I really don't enjoy pinning, but there's some things that it is just necessary for. It's so hard to show you guys on camera sometimes, but here's my neckband folded in half, and there's the neckline, and you can see that there's some fabric that I need to ease into the neckband because the neckband is a little bit smaller than the neckline opening, and you can see that when I stretch this, they become the same length, and I have this even amount of extra fabric in between each of these sections. So you can see there's a little extra there, and I'll stretch it tight. I gotta say, it's not easy to sew through this many layers of thick knit fabric. I'm just gonna repeat that, but I'm not gonna make you watch it because it's kind of boring. Same thing over and over. I had to change because I was roasting. So now that I've got a majority of the sweatshirt done, this is a good opportunity to go back in and do some detail work, which I'm going to use my twin needle to do a twin stitch around the neckline. I was gonna do it around the cuff, but my machine's having a hard time getting this fabric around the needle, so I'm just gonna skip that step there because it doesn't matter. You can see here that I've already done it on the bottom band, and I just think it makes it look really nice. So I'm gonna do that to the neckband now. And here's the final look. It is so comfortable, and I do wear it here completely untucked with the sleeves down so you could see the full look, because a few of you have asked for that. This pattern is available now for purchase from my Etsy shop. I'm kind of tempted to customize this with some art on my Cricut, so let me know if you have any ideas for that. I hope you enjoyed this one, and I will see you in the next video.